Huge disclaimer.
Lino, will you go ahead and record the disclaimer, and we will have this part plucked out and put at the front of the show. Lino, take it away. Well, this episode of the BeatiDudes is funny, and I'm sure it's full of holiness to come, but Lino wants to tell you that there's some things that might sound scary, but they're also stupid.
Do not do this.
Professional stuntmen, do not try it at home.
And if you are one of the people who likes to air our episodes in your 5th grade classroom, not this one. Not this one. Save it for 20 years from now. Welcome to the BeatiDudes, ladies and gentlemen, a show for Christian men walking arm in arm on our way, God willing, to eternity in heaven.
No ladies allowed.
Wow.
Thank you.
Jumping. Wow. Actually, that's not entirely true.
Kind of true, but not.
No ladies allowed at the tiny table when we're not at a conference.
Yes.
Correct.
Unless you have... Well, that's true.
I
so
love
far.
that a guy we're going to talk to about brand building jumped in just to like wreck our brand.
I know, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Right out of the gate.
So I'm Jeff Schiefelbein, joined by Paul Kolker,
Howdy, howdy.
Nick Bezner.
What's going on?
We're all in BeatiDudes blue today. I'm going hoodie, polo, and then you're wearing the Nick Bezner special t-shirt.
It's a Nick Bezner special, baby.
Yes, and I'm
Give him the business.
wearing a Paolo.
A Paolo.
Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah,
I'm
that's
wearing a Jeff
classic
D.
Paul with the pun.
That's right. You know me too well.
Hey, Marcellino D'Ambrosio came by. Have you recognized that name at all? It's because you are the third D'Ambrosio
And the
on
second
the show.
Marcellino
Hell
D'Ambrosio.
yeah.
Dude, how did you pull that off, being the next... I don't know what that even
The next D'Ambro.
Now, the real question is, how did I not pull off being the first one? That's,
Ooh,
Yeah.
Jeff's responsible for scheduling.
Yeah.
You know
Well,
what?
please direct all questions to Jeff Schiefelbein.
Can I call you Lino?
Yeah.
We wanted to make sure this show had legs before we brought you on here. Your dad and your brother were just kind of what we call test market.
Right.
Cannon fodder.
Is there a market for D'Ambrosios on the BeatiDudes?
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
March. Can I call you March?
No.
No. Yeah. You're good. We respect you. We love you. We wanted you here.
Dude, true story. I shook a guy's hand at family camp at the Pines this weekend, and he introduces himself as Lino, and I go, like March Lino, and he goes, no, my name's Lino.
Yeah.
That's a
They
name.
exist. Yeah. I recently met a Lino at a coffee shop, and I was like, whoa.
Was he tall?
No.
Different Lino.
Yeah.
No, I've heard the family nickname is like Celli.
Yeah, for my son.
Okay.
Celli is the nickname.
Wait, is he also a Marcellino?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
my
he's
goodness.
the 6th, bro.
Whoa.
You got to come up with. Luckily, there's a lot of syllables because that's a lot of different nicknames we got to keep
That's
coming
exactly right. Like well, you only really need 3 at a time, right? Like,
up with. Yeah, Mino, Lino, and Celli. Celli. Am I saying it right?
Yeah.
Close enough. As close as you ever are, Jeff.
People. That means good things are about to happen. That's all I heard you say.
All Jeff heard was green light.
I was given
Hammer down.
I didn't just go to family camp. I gave a talk at family camp because
Sure.
who just goes to camp?
Why not?
And I'm in the middle of talking, and I say something that could not be it's the exact opposite of the truth.
Nice.
My wife goes, nope, flip them. Like, I said,
Just a backwards version of that.
By this point in our marriage, we had two boys and one girl. She goes, nope, flip it. I'm like, it felt like I had Nick and Paul.
Jeff, you're the king of surrounding yourself
Yes.
with the right people.
Yeah.
You marry into guardrails.
Yeah. That's
Business
important.
guardrails.
All of it.
See, I took a different strategy. I married someone who was like 10 times more intense than me.
This doesn't sound possible.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. You thought I was like a crazy, creative, kind of like out there guy, and then you meet my wife, and she just like leads in with the weirdest question possible. Like one time, I was at SMU. I was leading music, and it was a very hoity-toity kind of Catholic community. We had a wedding for one of the like students, and everyone that was a part of it, like the people who paid for my salary, you know, they're all there. And we sit down at the table. This is like me and me introducing Augusta to all of these people. And she immediately gets into a conversation with a girl who's now a nun named Paula, about yoga, and then they start doing yoga. This reception. And I was just like, oh, dude.
I've known you to be one who pushes boundaries, and it sounds like your wife just doesn't know
That's
what
right.
that
There isn't
means.
any.
No, there is no boundary. Yeah.
Hey, and you like the
awesome.
outdoors a lot, right?
Yes.
But she is 10 times more intense than you are.
Yeah.
How many tents could you possibly get into?
You get mad at me for puns?
Come on. Paul was trying to signal like stop
That was bad, Jeff. That was a real bad one.
Well, let's just keep going. Let's see what happens
Let's
today.
see how many more puns we can get to happen today.
I have a serious question for you.
All right.
This is like the question of the day. I just thought of this one, okay?
Okay.
I told Nick today I wanted to ask the company this, and I was like, no, I'll ask the BeatiDudes this. When's the time that you've been legitimately scared? Not like, oh, I might fail this test. I mean, like, you have
Fearful.
fear. Yeah, like, anybody can answer this. A
Yeah.
time in your life when you just had crazy fear.
I have kind of a recent one. It was earlier this year.
I was going to say today.
Yeah.
Driving down 114 in the rain.
Walking into this podcast every time we record. No.
Wait, do I know this? Let's hear this.
No, well, maybe. I might have told you. I got to go do an emceeing gig that was in Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay.
And then flying back from that was the day that we had all the, like, almost tornadic weather, whatever kind of stuff going on.
Yeah.
And so we were trying to land at Love Field. And as we were coming into land, which they already warned us, they're like, we might encounter some turbulence and all this kind of stuff. The plane dropped. And then they, like, hit the thrusters and it, like, took back off. So it was a full...
It's like an air pocket.
Yeah, it was an air pocket that just suddenly just fell out from underneath us. And I was like... and when you feel the upward thrust coming out of that and the G's that you're experiencing, I was like, I might die right now.
This doesn't feel like a commercial airline flight.
No. And so I started, I was saying some Hail Marys and I was saying my act of contrition and all of that. And then we landed in, I think it was Tulsa. They had to reroute us there, and we stayed there on the ground for 3 hours, but nobody complained because we all had almost died in the plane.
Different perspective.
So we were like, we're happy to be on the ground for 3 hours.
Wow.
That'd be great. Yeah.
Was this May-ish? Like that whole crazy... Yeah.
Yeah, May or April. Somewhere
April,
right
May,
around.
there's tons of storms, yeah.
I think, did I tell you this on a different BeatiDudes, that we landed one time in Reno, and this, it was like snowy outside, and the flight attendant came on, she goes, ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for the pilot. That landing was a miracle.
Oh, gosh. Not what you want to hear.
I was like, stop clapping. Stop clapping. That's his job. This isn't a miracle. Like, what's the alternative?
Wow.
Fear for me, I was just telling a story the other day, the time that my kid was like 9 months old, my first kid, and I heard something, and I asked my wife at 2 a.m, like, is your phone on? She's like, no. And when I come around the corner, I thought somebody was trying to break into the shed in my backyard. And turns out they were walking up to the back steps with a flashlight and about to break out the window to my house.
No way.
And out of pure fear, I had about a 15-foot run between me and that door. And I was thinking about, like, what would I do to create the most amount of noise possible to scare this person? Well, I'm like in my PJs. And I'm like, what am I going to do? So I sprint up and punch the window with both of my fists. It's like a 4-pane, top of a door window. Yeah. And I smash it, and not like it went all the way through or anything. And this person just looks right at me, and it creeped me out that I was like closer than I am to Paul, which we're pretty close if you're not watching.
Yeah.
And so I punch it again, and when I do, my face hits it and both of my fists, and the glass is now breaking everywhere. And I realize, I got to tell you this is unbelievable. I realize this guy hasn't run off yet.
Oh,
and so now I think he's there to kill us, not just to break in, right? Imagine this. My adrenaline voice is not that deep. In fact, it hits an octave called Mickey Mouse.
We've heard that many times on this show.
And I will skip the in-between words, but I started going, call the cops! I'm here now! Call the cops! And I'm flipping on the lights, and each one I hit, there's blood coming down it, and I'm like, we're gonna die. And I do have a pistol in the house. I finally get to it and like put the chamber in it. And there's blood dripping off my face, I now realize. And now I have a bloody gun and I'm turning a corner and I'm trying to be really tough and not so Mickey Mouse. So Amanda made fun of me for this the other day. I started trying to get my voice deeper. So I started going,
Oh my gosh.
and then
I am very constipated.
so then listen
Oh
to
my
this.
goodness.
I was like, how do I get into like total, I'm going to, if you do something, I'll kill you mode. And my brain locked into RoboCop.
Oh man.
So I did if I see you, I will shoot. Amanda, to the baby's room. Amanda, repeat.
You
to
are
the baby's
kidding
room.
me.
No, Amanda can verify this whole thing.
Oh my gosh.
I did not know that detail
Oh,
of
dude,
this story.
RoboCop. And she tried to dial 911. Her lock screen is not 911 to get it undone, so she was stuck on her lock screen, which
Oh, yeah.
remember that when you're getting broken in on? And anyways, there was helicopters above. They never caught the guy. And they said that this is so crazy if you want to learn some neat trivia. It's legal for me to shoot him because he's on my property, like trying to break an entry. Because he didn't break my window, he also didn't break any laws. So if they caught him, there was nothing they could do. So it was like, I can shoot him, but he hadn't broken the law yet.
Fascinating.
Wow.
Texas is amazing.
I love Texas.
I did break out of my own house, though.
So you got out.
Breaking and exiting.
Breaking it.
Yeah.
Different B&E.
Wow. What a lead, Jeff. What a lead.
Well, I was just thinking about, like, I don't know. Would you be scared if Mickey Mouse was screaming at you?
I'd certainly be confused. Yeah.
If I saw a dude breaking his own window
Screaming like Mickey
with
Mouse.
his head, I would probably run.
This is a crazy person.
I don't think I'd stick around for that one.
Even if I was intent on hurting him.
yeah.
I think that guy works at the Magic Kingdom.
Such a familiar voice.
Hey.
Reminds me of my childhood.
And I think what was wrong, I had my shirt on. I feel like if I would have just started there, we would have been just fine. Yeah.
Always take your shirt off.
In times of crisis,
Poor
we've learned
Marcellino.
this.
Wow.
Schiefelbein
God.
means shirtless in German. It's like a family crest.
That's such an easy one to follow
That's
up,
a family
Jeff.
chest.
Yeah. Wow.
Do you want to come back later?
I was thinking of like a scary movie I once watched.
Oh my gosh.
I actually believe, Nick, the scariest he's ever been was he watched a movie. Well, that
mean,
was good.
I was super scared when
have
my
you ever been
sum
in a-
cells didn't add up properly in an Excel spreadsheet.
Have you ever been in a car wreck or anything like that where your adrenaline went?
That'd be the one. Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, that'd be the one for sure. I was driving. Gosh, this was 2017.
I don't know this.
Briley and I were dating. I was driving out super early. It was a rainy day, about like today, and road was just a little bit slick. And coming around a corner, just tires just like all of a sudden, I'm going backwards on the interstate, and now I'm going forward on the interstate, and now I'm going backward, and then I hit the median.
Jeez.
Completely fine. Like it doesn't stand out as like it obviously was very fearful in that like
Those seconds.
30 seconds.
Yeah.
And the truck hit the like cables in the middle, and like that was it. And it was a Saturday morning, and my parents were like an hour and a half away, and they came and picked me up, and I got a new car. Like it was kind of like it was intense, and then it was over.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I see how your brain works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you
All right,
scream?
I got one.
Go for
it. So, my wife, Augusta, God bless her, gets uncomfortable often in the car with me when she's driving, or when I'm driving her. And
Good clarification.
there are a couple of contributing factors to that. One being that I did have a motorcycle as my only mode of transportation for several years. The other being that I actually was in a high-speed chase a couple of times in high school.
What?
A couple of times.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Did you go to high school in the 70s?
This was probably 2006. I was a senior in high school, and my buddies and I, we were hooligans. We did this thing that we called the Day of Mayhem, where a bunch of dudes got together and
Hold on. Wait. That's awesome.
Dayhem.
What?
No, they didn't sandwich the word.
Never mind. Please
This is
continue.
a disclaimer. This was, he's grown up since then. No, keep going. Day
I
of
have.
Mayhem. Day of Mayhem.
Now it's just an hour of mayhem.
Yeah.
So we like dressed up like cowboys, put like a bunch of really gross stuff in super soakers, went to Grapevine Mills Mall and ran through the crowd, spraying them with super soakers. And then we had one person as the driver, and that was me, in my like Nissan Quest minivan. And so like I would drive up to the other side, let them out, drive back around, and I was there to pick them up. And my brother, Anthony, who's also been on this podcast, was chunking water balloons at all of the guys who were chasing the dudes that I dropped off. And one of those days that we did this happened a couple of times, which is why I've been in multiple high-speed chases.
Oh, my goodness.
The first time this happened, which this is crazy. Like the craziest one happened the first time, and then I did this whole thing again.
Hey, that was fun. Let's go back.
Still had a bunch of like weird stuff left in our super soakers, so we went to Grapevine Lake, and
Same day?
this is after.
Yeah.
And we saw some dudes sitting around a picnic table smoking weed. So we hopped out, sprayed them, jumped back in, and like took off. And a couple of minutes later, they cut us off on this kind of like pretty small Grapevine Mills Road.
How dare they?
And they got out with baseball bats and chains and were like walking slowly, very menacingly towards our van. And so I backed up like 100 feet, and I was like, I don't know what to do. This is a pretty long road. There's not a lot of places I can turn around. Like, I think
Was it the road where over the dam? Is it that one?
It was like that. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, jeez.
So I think like we kept this like game of chicken up where like I just backed up 100 feet, and they would like get back in their car, like drive up a little bit further, and then be like, all right, back up another 100 feet until I finally saw an opening and got around them. But we were in this like chase for probably, 20 minutes. And I was like driving through neighborhoods. I thought that I knew because I was a cross country runner. And there was this one moment where like we drive into a place that I thought I knew, and it turned out to be a cul-de-sac. Oh, no. And I just felt like this, like, oh my God, like this
What
is
have
going to
we
be
done?
bad. And so I just it's like, guys, hold on. And I literally did a 180 in this Nissan Quest minivan with like 6 dudes in it, and like played chicken with these guys. And I just was like, we're going. So I like went all out. They swerved out of the way. We got away.
At this point,
Huge disclaimer.
Lino, will you go ahead and record the disclaimer, and we will have this part plucked out and put at the front of the show. Lino, take it away. Well, this episode of the BeatiDudes is funny, and I'm sure it's full of holiness to come, but Lino wants to tell you that there's some things that might sound scary, but they're also stupid.
Do not do this.
Professional
Oh my
stuntmen.
goodness.
Do not try it at home.
And if you are one of the people who likes to air our episodes in your 5th grade classroom, not this one. Not this one. Save it for 20 years from now. Hey, thanks for throwing the curveball. What questions do you have for the
I mean,
BeatiDudes?
how is that crazy? That's crazier than what you just shared, dude.
I was protecting my family.
That was
You were causing mayhem with
in a
its
day
own.
of mayhem.
I'm pretty sure you made a logo for your day of mayhem.
Probably, yeah, actually. I mean, it was branded. It was a branded thing.
That's what I'm saying.
Nissan Quest, cowboy hats, bandanas. That was how you knew.
If I had all those things, I'd put on a play.
In the words of Michael Caine's, Alfred. There we go.
Yeah.
Some men just want to watch the world burn.
Exactly. Yeah.
That was y'all. That was y'all.
You did it.
And then I went to seminary. So.
There's hope. What caused you to go to seminary?
Yeah. Well, at the time, those dudes were bandmates of mine. So Anthony and I were in a punk rock band. We were living kind of like 2 different lives. One was kids of the theologian, going to youth group where I met Paul, and the other was like Saturday night going to Deep Ellum and playing shows and partying after. And so we
Chicken fight.
Yeah, doing crazy stuff. I actually like didn't do a lot of like drinking or any drugs or anything, but I did a lot of like really ridiculous hooligan-esque, things. So my mom and my dad did not really support the band because they could see it was taking me in some weird directions. The relationships that I had around me were not great. So we just had a really rough relationship my senior year. And my mom came to a show. My brother and I put on our own like birthday extravaganza, and like we headline. Nobody was gonna let us headline for like big acts. So we did that. We like put that on ourselves, which just sort of like shows the trajectory of our life.
Yeah, the entrepreneurial spirit.
Exactly. Yeah. My first small business. So my mom she came to that show, which like they didn't come to our shows very often. And afterwards, my brother and I, like we went out, we partied, we came back home at like 2 a.m. and my mom was still up, which is not a good sign, She had her like kind of pursed lips, like very like, Mom, you stayed out too late, like you said you would be home. What happened? Look. And we just kind of like avoided her, went upstairs, and we're like, uh-oh, something's going to happen.
Did you tell her mom the promoters actually threw an after party for us?
Yeah, exactly. We were the promoters. And so she came into the room and just said, hey, like this band is taking you in a really bad direction. You need to make a change. You need to like let this band go, break it up, like something's got to change here. It's not taking you in a direction that we want to see. And so for whatever reason, I think the Holy Spirit really like landed on us, because usually I gave my mom the whole, you don't know anything, Mom, I'm a teenage boy act. But that night we prayed together and said, God, if you want the band, you can have it. And the next day, our bandmates called us and told us that they were going to go in a different direction and gave us the Now Useless Band t-shirts. So that was crazy. I mean, hand of God. Then my brother's girlfriend broke up with him, and then my girlfriend broke up with me. And so in the span of like a day, all of that happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was the band called Now Useless, or you were just saying?
No, I had it too. Yeah.
Are you allowed to say the band name? Don't if it's bad.
Yeah, it was called Light the Skies.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
So then you have all these encounters or whatever. All these things seem to happen all at once right after finally sitting down and praying with your mom and not telling her she's wrong. How did you get into seminary? Where did you go? Was it diocesan? Were you somewhere else? What was this?
Yeah, so for Anthony and I, it was a lot more like going to Catholic rehab than it was a really intentional decision that we were trying to discern priesthood. It was like, I need a full life reset, and the best way to do that is go to seminary.
I've never heard that terminology, but that makes a lot of sense.
It's like some people are like, I'm just going to go to the army. I need order in
Yeah,
my
it was
life.
exactly like that. Yeah. And there was a group of St. Anne's guys who were going to seminary, and the seminary was being run by a man who my dad had like been close with. His name was Father Bear. And so, kind of weird situation. We all went up as like unattached seminarians. Like we didn't have a diocese. We were in this like weird moment. So and then I was still a hooligan there, which Paul probably has some memories of. But
National Pirate Day, I think.
It was like Ninja Day.
Ninja Day, that's what it was.
Yeah.
On campus.
Yeah.
Good times. Good times.
How long did you make it?
1 year. I did 1 year. That's it. That's all I could do. Anthony did 4, so kudos to him.
I didn't stick. I thought y'all did everything at the same time.
No.
Twins have their own individual
common
personalities.
misconception there, Jess.
Yeah.
I always thought of it as the dignity of the human persons being twins. What did you end up at Ave Maria? Am I making it up?
Yeah.
Was that just another Catholic rehab?
No. I felt like I got through most of that. I think like there was still a lot of formation and transformation that needed to happen. But I just, I heard this line from the Catechism that was a quote from, I think, Pope Paul I can't remember, but it was basically like the laity are the front lines of the church. And when I read that, I realized that all the ways that I had thought about the priesthood and the laity was totally wrong, and that what I really wanted was to be on the front lines. And I think that Ave really prepared me for that.
It's cool.
Was it Catechesi Tradendi? Was it the one about catechesis?
I can't remember, man.
Pope Paul, Paul the Sixth.
That sounds like a good band, too.
We'll put it in the show notes.
Catechese trendy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, wait. So you and Paul go back to what? We're talking like
High school.
High school.
High school?
Yeah. But then I think we were on the same floor in seminary.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of because you would do stuff together as a floor. So it was like night prayer was as a floor. We would some of the service projects and stuff.
Were you in Dallas? Where is it?
No, this was in Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Yeah, the coldest freaking place on earth.
Oh, it was so cold. Yes.
It was, yeah.
Especially being a Texan coming from here to going to negative 17-degree weather. It was.
Yeah, when it snows in October, it's like, wait.
It's supposed to be 90.
Yeah. Well, and then the swing to where people start sunbathing in March when it's 40 degrees because
that was wild.
Because
how nice it is outside.
Yeah. They were listening to Dave Palmer and sunbathing.
Hey, as long as it's after midnight.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, so it was a similar sort of situation, or at least in Father Bear's eyes, he was the one who kind of said, well, you've got Franciscan that has this kind of pre-theology program where you don't have to be a seminarian in a diocese to live the life of a seminarian and study and discern and all of that. And so he was the one who kind of spearheaded that whole venture, I guess, if you want to call it that, where he let some of us he said, I'd rather you be on this side of it, praying and learning and growing, than just out there still trying to kind of make up your mind.
There's a ton of guys that are running around in our little world here in Irving, Texas, that all have that same story of some sort of seminary formation that just made them better men for whatever they were going to do next. And they went in different levels, right? Some of it was, I think I might be called to the priesthood. Others it was, well, if I don't try this now, how will I ever know? And I don't think any of those are wrong. I think the wrong thing is sticking with it when you're not having that calling.
Well, and Father Bear made a point to say a number of different times, he said there should be a lot more former seminarians.
Yeah.
Because there should just be more people giving it a chance.
Yeah, I never finished seminary. Neither did Nick.
Nope.
Well played.
I don't know how that works.
It's true, but I'm not a former seminarian.
Yeah, that's true. Marcellino, I don't know the part between you graduate from college and I end up really kind of connecting with you really through Catholic Creatives more than anything. I feel like it was those days. What's the gap there?
Well, I think actually some talk about what happened in college is worth sharing because I had never, nobody looked at me and said, this guy is a future leader. I was always just causing mayhem everywhere that I went, and was generally a hooligan. And so when I went to Ave, it was the first year on their new permanent campus, and there was literally nothing built. There was just some buildings, and there were no clubs, there was no pool, there was nothing, and it was also 45 minutes away from the beach. So you show up, and you're like, hey, I want to join the fencing club. And they're like, we will give you a budget of $20 to buy some new fencing gear, and you will start this club. That was the attitude. So, it was actually kind of perfect for me. And shout out to my former alma mater that they allowed a lot of craziness. So I helped to start 4 or 5 new clubs. I ran unopposed as the event planner for student government my sophomore year. Nobody wanted the job. And so I just had all of this experience coming out of college and starting new things and leading people in events and community building.
It's the other education.
Yeah. My grades weren't awesome, but That was, it was a great education in being a Catholic entrepreneur. So I, left. One of the only things that you can do when you have a lit degree, you have two options. You can be a teacher or a youth minister. So I chose youth minister, did youth ministry, and I knew that was a dead-end job. It was like, all right, I'm going to make $50K for the rest of my life unless I figure something else out. And so my brother and I just started moonlighting for various agencies, running digital marketing, helping to sell. We would just do whatever we could for free in order to get some skills there. Yeah.
Did you have some projects that you were doing along the way that really kind of helped to light that fire that you knew you were called to, a branding, marketing, creative? Well, not, I knew you were creative, but that kind of a bent?
Yeah, I didn't really know that was a thing. I'd never had anyone tell me, hey, this is a pathway. You can make money doing this. Until I was involved in this young adult group in Dallas that was evangelical led. And one of the pastors that was leading that pulled me aside and was like, hey, you are a really creative guy. You should do something with this. You just tell me what it is that you want to do, and I will hook you up with somebody to mentor you. And I think what he really wanted to do was get me to be his youth pastor. And so he was going to get me some other skills and a side gig and pull me in. But he hooked me up with a guy who mentored me a little bit, told me, here's a book to read, listen to this podcast. And it really helps me to see that there was a possibility there. So that's the story to that.
So I know here in a minute, we got to talk a little bit about Sherwood Fellows, which I'll try my best to describe what that is, but also Catholic Creatives. But let me ask you this, which came first, Sherwood Fellows or Catholic Creatives? Okay, so what is Sherwood Fellows? Yeah,
so at the time, this was 2015. So there was no name. It was just D'Ambrosio Creative LLC. And Anthony and I were starting to have Catholic organizations, young adult groups reach out to us to do projects, and the agencies that we were working for didn't want to take those clients. So we started our own LLC to do that. And still had no idea what we were doing. We were very green, and we wanted to find other people who we could just network with, grow in relationship with, that may have had a little bit more experience than us. So kind of classic Anthony and Marcellino fashion, we decided to start a community for these people. So we put on an event in Dallas. We said, we all hate the Catholic bulletin. Everybody knows the Catholic Church bulletin sucks. Come to this house.
Not to put too fine a point on it.
We are going to solve this problem. Why is it so bad? Why is this the way that the church communicates? And we're going to propose a new direction for the church bulletin. And we invited a ton of different people, and we had people fly in from all over the U.S. for this thing. It was
funny.
Amazing.
We put up church bulletins all over the wall.
And while you're here, it's also our birthday party.
Yeah, exactly. That's the attitude.
And the CEO of the company that does all those bulletins.
We learned a lot. But through that, we started this Facebook group for people who couldn't come to that event, and it just took off.
That was Catholic Creatives.
That was Catholic Creatives. So we did not mean to start a new thing. It just kind of happened.
It's funny. Last week I had 5 Australians stay at the house. The mom and dad and the 3 kids. Jonathan Doyle's been on the show before, and they were in town to do a talk and also just hang out in the States for a month, and that was the final week. And I can trace back why Jonathan Doyle is in my life to Therese Nichols and Joshua whatever that were at Catholic Creatives from Australia, where Paul and I first connected, where almost every one of our guests that's local first connected.
7 or 8 years ago.
Yeah, that event is this culminating event that I'm sitting there having this awesome
You reference it all the time. You're like, dude, this is the guy from
Seminary.
the thing that goes back to the Catholic Creatives event in 2017 or whatever.
Yeah, you built a movement that is, it echoes throughout the hallways of lucidprivateoffice.com in Irving, Texas. And also in 28 other locations that are not nearly as holy, but also wonderful. Actually, to get into Lucid Private Office, the gate is narrow.
It really is.
It's kind of a design flaw. I mean, what?
I mean, it's like a pinhole. Okay.
I was on a camel and it was very difficult.
But you did it?
Yeah.
I couldn't see how to plank in my eye. Marcellino.
Didn't know you're so rich.
Yeah, exactly. What you built is so meaningful that it's not just because you're not doing it now, it hasn't stopped. Like it exists.
Yeah.
It's a community that is still connected, even if I'm not on that Facebook group or whatever. Like that community exists because you and your brother followed some like prompting of the Holy Spirit. Can you just reflect on, I think, the impact of Catholic Creatives?
Man, it is.
Oh yeah, and thank you for doing it.
Thank you.
Yes.
Sorry, Paul and I meant to say thank you a couple of years ago.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. I wasn't there, but
Still.
I've heard good things.
Yeah, I think I've reflected on this a lot because it's definitely a mixed. There's a lot of mixed emotions about like it's the experience of building it, selling it, like reflecting on whether that was the right move or not, and like getting burnt out in the process, and just I think in a lot of ways God anointed Anthony and I to do that, both to reveal our flaws to us and also to like bring us into a new a new place in our walk with him. And so like a lot of leadership lessons, I think primarily what God used that experience to do is for me. So really grateful for all of the fruit that's come out of it, but like God used it to change me. And I think that is how most Catholic organizations really are. It's a work of God for the people who are in it.
Well, it's kind of always both, right? I mean, a vocation is the way to fully become who God intended you to be, but he also intends to use your gifts to serve and build up the church.
Yeah. Yeah, so like on the fruit side, I think like the amount of people who got jobs through that is incredible. The amount of people who are now business partners through it's staggering, the amount of connections that were made through that, both through the Facebook group, but also through the events that we put on, which you guys, some of you had the opportunity to come to that. So really incredible memories there. And then on the like personal side, I think like I learned that I have to have boundaries, which I was talking to Paul about this a little bit, but just I think when you get into a place where you are doing something for God, oftentimes you can just really overdo it and not realize that you have limitations. You have you have blind spots that are, having an impact, and like those are revealed to me. So I kept getting involved in places that I really shouldn't have, in conversations or arguments or relationships in the community that like just really weren't my business. And like, just because I wanted everybody to be tight,
Yeah. Everybody get to this point.
Yeah.
Well, you're kind of talking about, because I think there were a number of heated Facebook conversations in that Facebook group. So you're saying basically like you were trying to also be the moderator of a Facebook page, which is a whole other job.
Dude, it was so time consuming.
Yeah.
I was trying to like kind of host conversations that were important in the church, that were like the conversations that we had were really, really important. Like they drove leadership decisions across organizations in the church. And so I just cared a lot. But then, like somebody gets out of hand and then they're having beef with like this organization. This organization is pissed at Catholic Creatives and, like that kind of thing. So I just kept like trying to handle it all and not realize that like God put me in that place. I think that what he wanted for me was to have that revealed and then to like learn how to step back and have boundaries and how to like let him have it,
I love it. Well, speaking of boundaries, we're about to break them all down.
Here's a boundary breaker. It's called Blessed Are the Joke Makers.
Heck yeah.
For they shall inherit the points. 97 points on this one.
And the way this is going to work is we've got a character card and a Catholic card game card, and we have to answer the prompt on the Catholic card game card as this character, and you just get to decide which one you enjoyed the most, and they get all the points.
Do you think he wants to...
Oh, you can play.
I want to play.
All right.
You want me to sit here and judge because I haven't won in like 4 seasons?
Whatever you want to do, Jeff.
No, nobody thinks that's funny.
If you're giving up, that's fine.
No. Okay, well, I'll play, but you get to pick if you win or not.
All right. What?
Yeah, you do.
Sure,
You're
just
still the
trust me.
judge.
All right.
You just
Yeah.
get to decide which one is.
I'm Marcellino. It's
Yeah.
really hard for me to be cocky.
Oh,
right.
what do you know? Marcellino wins.
It's my birthday.
Here we go. All right. Here comes our day of mayhem. It is the character that we're playing is an extremely clairvoyant psychic. So I guess,
A psychic.
yeah, psychic. And then the Catholic card game prompt is a Catholic's guide to blank.
Does that make any sense?
I don't know.
Got it. Marcellino, Senior. I call you Senior because you're going to have twin boys, and they will cause mayhem on the road to salvation. And I'm giving you the Catholic guidebook to raising hooligans that will someday transform the world with Catholic creatives. That was somebody talking to your dad.
Okay. Great. Love it. That was great. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. You got to go fast because I don't want any.
Hi, y'all. My name's Claire, clairvoyant, and I just want to say that I have a guide for you that I'd like to give you. It's called How to Fill Your Super Soaker, and it got all kinds of recipes in there. Lots of great ones, lots of terrible ones. You're probably going to tend towards those. I'm going to give you that book.
It's available at Grapevine Mills Mall. Nick, you've got to just go. Marcellino, you ready? He's
Yeah.
got one. Ready?
Yeah, if you're ready.
Paul, can I see your palm, please? Looks like that line there. That tells me that you are going to have a boy soon. And in order for you to make this, you're going to have to make some very important decisions in the beginning of his life. So I'm going to give you the Catholic's Guide to Circumcision.
Theme music. The video series of that guidebook. Man, what a setup.
Well played, sir. Well played.
Thanks for calling 1-800 Clairvoyant-Psychics. This is Nick. Oh, hey, thanks for calling. Yes, I had a question for you, Mr. Psychic. I just wanted to know what I'm supposed to be doing with my life. Oh, well, of course, yeah, that's just going to be your vocation, of course. And the Catholic's Guide to vocations is really just goes back to vocari, which is really just your calling. And so you really just need to be praying a lot and really discerning that. You might need to go to seminary for a year and really not give it that much of a go, but just like figure it out, and that's okay too. But if you follow that path, you'll be discerning well.
And this has been a great day at Catholic Answers.
With whom we are not affiliated.
Who are you giving the points to? It could be yourself. You can get on the board.
Nah, I'm not judging myself. Come on, Jeff.
Come on now. I mean, you set him up with,
Yeah, that was
the guidebook of all guidebooks. Yeah.
your call.
Yours
What
had
say
a
you?
choose your own adventure. Birth, 13.
I think the accent on this guy over here really like.
Which I saw your thumb point, but was it jumping up? I couldn't tell.
Up and over. Paulonius, 97 points.
Oh my god.
Does he always win?
No,
Is that-
he
okay.
used to not. And then this season
I won
happened. You
last
won
one.
last
Yeah,
one.
you won the last one.
Hey, for being our celebrity guest judge, you introduced me to Scott Williams. You know this, right? Over Facebook.
Yeah.
A month after he started. You're getting some St. Padre Pios.
Heck yeah.
Do you have these?
I don't have the Padres.
You're supposed to cut off the ends and just wear them on your hands to cover all those stigmata wounds. I don't
Say
know.
Christ is Lord.
You're also getting BeatiDudes socks so that you can always have
Dude.
Paul on the left side of your leg, Nick on the right side of your leg, and me on the back.
Yeah.
And the Padre Pio, it's not actually a pair of socks. It's just one that's bilocating.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Yeah.
And listen up, BeatiDudes. You can get your own BeatiDudes socks. Not really, but you could go get BeatiDudes.
Sure, you can email
You
us.
could.
Yeah, we'll
For
make it work.
$100, we will absolutely mail them to you.
Email,
I promise. I
email
promise.
us money. Email us money.
Venmo, Cash App, PayPal.
Fax it.
Bitcoin.
Like stars, 5 stars. And sacrilegious.com/BeatiDudes for 10% off of their stuff too. God bless. Dude, you're on fire today.
Well, speaking of that, have you guys ever worn a custom tailored suit?
Yes.
What?
No, trust me, the segue will make sense because On Fire Media will make a custom tailored website for you.
Nice.
So On Fire Media is all about marketing for mission-driven groups, purpose-driven companies. You guys know something about
For
that,
sure.
right? So what they do is they help you with your email marketing. They help you with Google Ads, with a custom website.
With your pay-per-click?
Yes, paperclips, I'm sure, probably.
No, pay-per-click.
Ah, yes, a term they know, so you don't have to. So they will help you with all of that. All you have to do is if you want to fret less and mission more, go to onfiremedia.com/BeatiDudes to schedule your discovery call today.
Can I get a discount?
Actually, yes. The first 10 people to sign up and become customers with their own custom website get a 10% discount.
onfiremedia.com/BeatiDudes.
The team at Aquinas Wealth Advisors believes that good values and good returns are not mutually exclusive. Using a tech-smart and morally sound approach, they provide investment alternatives that align with Catholic teachings without sacrificing returns. These days, faith-driven investors are finding it hard to know where their money is going. They have no visibility into what their dollars are supporting, but there's a better way. Thanks to the Faith and Finance Score from Aquinas Wealth Advisors, you can look into your current holdings to see what you're supporting and make a switch to an advisor that aligns with your values and gives power to your voice. Check out AquinasWealth.com today.
Hey BeatiDudes, it's Jeff here. When Nick and I set out and we started this company, Undivided Life, we decided to not use traditional healthcare, but we went with Solidarity HealthShare because we thought it was an affordable and ethical alternative that matched the needs of our business and our growing families. Since then, my family put Solidarity to the test. We've had pregnancies, babies, emergency room visits, even a brain surgery for one of my children, and Solidarity has been an incredible partner and has also had the cost and the ethical approach that we love. Here's a link for you to go check it out. learnmore.solidarityhealthshare.org/BeatiDudes. This is your chance to be in solidarity with the Schiefelbein family.
Stop what you're doing and listen to the BeatiDudes.
You got it? Do you want to write a theme song for us right now?
Dude, that was pretty good. I don't know if I could top that.
Welcome back, everybody. We are here with Marcellino D'Ambrosio, the fifth. Yeah, the fifth?
The fifth.
Man.
Yeah, Marcellino Giovanni Michele D'Ambrosio Quinto.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Bingo. You took it right out of my words right out of my mouth.
Did you just say Quinto at the end?
Yeah, the fifth.
That's the fifth.
Oh, I thought it was like
Nope.
small one.
Nope. I just wanted to say you got those Padre Pio socks, and I'm just going to talk for a second. My wife got me a book on the life of Padre Pio for my birthday, and I'm just kind of getting into it. And we were talking about the stigmata. He had it invisibly for 8 years, which I did not know was a thing.
Yeah.
So you had the pain of it, but nothing outer.
Wow.
Yeah. And then it talked about some other saints that have had it. And I can't remember if it was St. Catherine of Siena or another female who had the stigmata and prayed for it to become invisible because she was such a humble person.
Yeah,
And it's like,
didn't want the
that is
attention.
like, it doesn't want the
Yeah,
attention. I'm
gosh.
like, golly, the saints just blow me away with their humility.
Mm-hmm.
So that was just I just wanted to share that.
Yeah, I didn't tell you guys, but I have
No.
Be invisible.
I didn't tell you guys, but that guy with the chains hit me right in the hand.
Yes, like, that is the exact opposite. Nailed it. You got it.
Whew. So you were doing the Catholic creatives. From my understanding, COVID really rocked having a community of people that are supposed to be gathering.
Yeah, that
And
was
the
big.
creatives in general got rocked by COVID. I don't know
Sure.
if Paul's ever heard about that, but
Yeah, theater shut down for a year and a half.
yeah, not the easiest place to be performing for people that are supposed to be in person.
And my business was like all around in-person communities.
Yeah.
You know?
and events.
churches,
and, yeah.
events, nonprofits, community gathering. Yeah, it was rough. It was real rough.
Yeah. So then take us through kind of like what is life, COVID and beyond look like for you, including family stuff?
Yeah. So I had Celli, my son, in January of 2020. So basically like right before everything shut down. And so actually cool, like this will never happen again, but I was able to baptize him myself because nothing was open. And so, yeah, I think it was just a really weird time to be like transitioning into parenthood. And I think like God had just done a lot of like drudging up all of the junk in my soul through the year leading up to that. So 2019, like our business was doing really well. Catholic Creatives was like the cool thing in the church. And then in 2020, we went from like $1 million in revenue to like 300,000 in revenue. So we had to let go of a lot of people on our team. We had to make a lot of changes. And I was also like kind of going through this thing where my twin brother and I, we were business partners, and my wife and I are like just newly married. And what does that mean? Like trying to kind of navigate this like transition from my brother being kind of the core relationship in my life to my wife being the core relationship in my life. And so I just felt this like profound sense of like God saying like, you've got to step back. You cannot be the guy in charge for a while.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, I will listen to that and I will be the number 2 guy instead. So John Cannon, who I think, has he been on?
Yeah, he's first 10.
Yeah. So John Cannon, founder of Scent, and I got together. We talked a lot about like where Scent was going. There was a lot of similarities between this group of Catholic entrepreneurs and Catholic creatives. And so he invited me to take a role with Scent for, just to help build it. And at the time, like I said, I just felt like I needed to do that. I needed to not be the guy making the final calls. So it was crazy. It was still startup, but it was great to just get to lean on John for a little while and get my feet back under me. So I did a lot of counseling. I worked a 12-step program. I, just worked really hard on myself and try to kind of rebuild my life.
Well, I want to go back to Scent for a second here because people know this brand if you don't look up Scent Ventures. One of the things I try to tell people all the time is it is a very vibrant, emotionally stunning brand. Like it's something you have a connection to as you just are flipping through and digesting and consuming the content. And your fingerprints are all over it. Even this Scent Summit that people are so pumped up about. We just had the 3rd one. We got to have a couple of the guests on here. That thing wouldn't be what it is if you didn't take all that Catholic Creatives experience and pull together in the last minute, basically, the very first one down in Houston in 2022. So, your legacy of impacting people and bringing us together and allowing us to know one another, to create important things, to have business partnerships, it's continuing to this day in a very, very big way. And I'm excited to see what you continue to keep doing there. So that's awesome. And then how are you doing as a dad? Are you a good dad?
I'm a good dad. Wow. Oh, man.
On a scale of 9 to 10, how would you rate yourself?
Anywhere in there. Yeah.
Oh, man. That's really hard. I feel very inadequate a lot.
That means you're a good dad.
Yeah.
Anybody who says, I got this, probably ain't got it.
Yeah. My son is very much like me. Like he has all of the energy, all of the like willpower.
How often is he driving to Grapevine Mills?
He is not doing that just yet, but
him in
he
his
does
Power Wheels
throw
going
toys around the house often.
I watched him going in reverse, and then every time these people walk towards him, he'd go in reverse a little bit more.
Yeah,
and I was like,
exactly.
I know where that move came from.
Yeah.
He's going to be just fine.
Celli
I did get that invite for Day of Mayhem.
is my
Part
son.
7.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, back to the branding thing. I think that these questions.
Way to skip the fatherhood.
No, I'm getting there. Okay. I'm getting there.
He's weaving.
I think that like a part of what a father does is give the family an identity, a sense of identity, which is what like I help founders do. I see myself as a throughput kind of guy. Like, I'm going to help you understand yourself and then show that to the world. And so, like, I think that my fatherhood, I do that to some extent, but I also feel like it has, I've needed to rebuild my own sense of identity on God in order to show up as a dad. And I feel like I'm still in that process.
It never ends, just so you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you little boy, are you going to just keep naming them all Marcellino so we can have 8, 9, 10?
Yeah, just in case one of them dies, you know. Just have a backup.
I think you're supposed to say in case one of them turns out bad. We will move on past that. Listen, the bonus show on Friday, I'm going to go ahead and transition here. We're going to be talking about that branding process, whether we're talking about our families or the BeatiDudes. We're going to talk about like the brands that really invigorate and get you pumped up. Because I think when we play to that side, people can also see the beauty in starting from square one of like all these deeper questions of why and how and what is yoga. Really help to build up something special. So I'm looking forward to that. How do people get in touch with you for Sherwood Fellows or anything else that they want to do?
Well, I mean, the first thing that I'd say is right now we are promoting a film, which you guys have done done a lot to help make happen. So Triumph of the Heart is the film about St. Maximilian Kolbe that we are in the process of marketing and distributing. So triumphoftheheart.com, you can find us there. And then Sherwood Fellows.
Before you go on.
Yeah.
Nick stopped me the other day because he was on one of those calls with investors or interested parties. I think it was actual investors. And people were talking about this film being a film of sacrifice and of
suffering.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And Nick
It's
was like, time out, because they were talking about like
yeah.
when to release and, you know, the appropriate timing. And Nick was like, time out. It's called Triumph of the Heart for a reason. It's a film about redemption. It's a film about hope. It's a film about something bigger and more important than any of our suffering.
Yeah.
And I thought that was such a beautiful thing to say because it's really easy to even just describe it. You didn't, but I do sometimes. Is like, oh, you know, what happened inside the cell for those 14 days as these men were starving to death. And that is very painful and hard to kind of handle at times. But the story is not one of just suffering.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's suffering on the pathway to redemption and hope and a pure love that we can't experience.
You leave watching that film just on cloud 9, like aiming higher, you know?
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah. It is very hard to watch, but the amount of joy and hope that unleashes at the end, which I think like we're trying very hard to keep the ending under wraps. Not that it's like a huge surprise in that.
No,
but
I hear
It's
you.
amazing
happens,
though.
but-
It's so good.
Yeah.
No, but the way you tell the story is what you want to keep
At the
under
very
wraps.
end,
Correct.
an atom bomb goes off.
Oh gosh.
Oh, that was the fake ending we filmed just to throw off the
You. It's just to throw you off in this moment so you wouldn't ruin it, Jeff.
Jeff, watch this World War II documentary.
Yeah, well, Jeff, it's not just Jeff and Nick and Paul that like it. Also, Matt Walsh liked it. So
Yeah.
that's
He actually
pretty cool.
said the exact opposite before. He said, it's not just me, it's Jeff, Nick, and Paul. It's really neat. It's like a symbiotic sort of ecosystem. He's the turtle, we're the amoebos.
Yeah, exactly.
Amoebros.
Amoebros.
Oh my gosh.
That's us eating the algae off of the turtles.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, you were going on with Sherwood Fellows there. Oh, wait. And Paul, if you're afraid of Germans coming to get you, just Paul is going to freak you out because in the show, you're going to hear Paul's German voice, his real voice using German
Numbers.
words.
Yeah.
Dude, I
Numbers.
totally forgot about that.
Yep. I'm shouting in German.
Recorded here at the tiny table.
And it looks like it'll be theatrical release probably April, May of 25. So
Sweet.
we'll have Anthony back on before that.
I think we should just have all the D'Ambrosios just run a show here, and we'll be the we'll be
nice.
the guests.
Yeah.
We'll share a mic.
We
the
need a
three
few
of
more
us.
mics. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So you can also find our agency at sherwoodfellows.com. That's where you can
where the
find our
magic
agency.
happens.
You can see like the things that we've been working on.
It's pretty cool what they do.
We have a guy coming on the show in a week. We're going to be recording with him. named Brian Manhart.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, no way. Wow.
Wait, how do y'all know each other?
Oh,
This is crazy,
because
dude.
Brian was touring people around his RV park. and came
of
around
course,
the
I
corner.
forgot. Yes.
And what were you doing before your wedding with a goat or a
Bro,
lamb? Let's say it.
yeah, well, we slaughtered a goat. And
At
that
a
was
wedding
that was
venue.
what we
Wedding venue with a sword.
No, that is not true. That is
It
not
was
true.
an axe.
It was
a hefty spork.
we cooked a goat for my wedding.
I think that violates so many health codes.
Nah.
They cooked it.
Paul, you've never been to Cook County.
Oh, it's called Cook County. Never
Yeah,
mind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, dude, that's so funny.
Yeah,
Wow.
I think he's the next guest after you.
He is.
Oh my gosh, this cracks me up. He goes-
Wow.
He literally was in our office about a year ago. He goes, "You know the D'Ambrosios?" And we're like, "Yeah." And he goes, "I got a story."
Yeah, so funny. No, it was actually a priest that he was touring. And so, like, my brother had just killed this goat. And this priest walks around and back, and there's just blood, like, gushing out of this goat's throat.
Another day of mayhem.
And a wedding.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, dude. Wow. Yeah, Brian owed me one, so I called in the favor.
Well, good. We'll hear the other side of that story next week when you come back on the Monday episode. Not you, the viewer who has liked, subscribed, and/or given us 5 ratings.
Five stars.
You can get 5 ratings.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'll take it.
5 separate 5-star ratings would be ideal.
Yes, every platform.
Yes.
We've been told to do a better job of this. And go to our store, buy hoodies. Are you going to buy a hoodie?
Yeah,
There's a discount code.
absolutely.
You know what it is?
What?
Free shipping.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Not
I
true.
don't know.
Not true. Not
I'll
true.
find a way.
Not true.
You can have this one. Okay. Listen, come back. We're going to actually play a fun little improv game at the beginning of the bonus episode 2, and that will be our Reverse Simpsons for Friday. And in the meantime, I think we're about to wrap it up here. So, ladies and gentlemen, we will see you on all future days of mayhem. And for the rest of you, we will.
See you in the Eucharist.
God bless you.
See you in the Eucharist, guys.
Thanks for tuning in. If you'd like to join us at our undersized table, subscribe to the video version of the show on YouTube by typing @ that's the symbol @ so shift and 2 on your keyboard, @ the _ BeatiDudes on YouTube. We'll see you there.